In this episode of INN CEO Talks on site of the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference, I'm joined by Scott Berdahl, the CEO and founder of Snowline Gold, and we're talking about gold, Yukon Gold. Scott, great to see you.
Good to see you too, Stu.
Let's bring people who haven't met you before up to speed on this remarkable district-grade discovery that you have.
Sure. So I guess if someone hasn't met me before, it's good to know a little bit more about kind of where the company came from and where I came from, which is the Yukon. And I grew up there prospecting with my father. And over the years, we staked and explored a lot of the territory, usually staying off the beaten path and checking out new ideas. And so obviously, that doesn't always work, but if you do it for long enough, you start to accrete some really good projects and really good ideas and good discoveries. And so Snowline is really a culmination of 3 decades of that kind of work. And in it, we recognize this area in the eastern Yukon that has world-class geology in terms of the rocks, and they're analog to some of the better gold camps in the world. But they hadn't seen almost any exploration. We optioned them out to a few companies during the gold boom in 2010, 2011. And of course, when the markets crashed, they all came back and with a lot of very good data that added a lot of support for our ideas in terms of the district thinking there. And so we launched Snowline, finally got some traction in 2021, and went out there and drilled 2 targets, and we hit 2 big discoveries in 2 different styles of mineralization out there in our first year. And I say big discoveries, never before drilled targets, 100 gram meter sort of plus intersections, and visible gold at both sites. And as a prospector, it's very rare to find VG. And so, in our second year, we doubled down on one of those discoveries, and it's proving to be a very nice bulk tonnage, but with strong grades, near surface, very good looking target.
Where to from here then?
So we're basically balancing this discovery, which seems to be one of the better discoveries to come out of Canada in recent times, if I can be so bold to say that. I mean, everyone loves their own kids, but it really is a great discovery. It ticks a lot of the boxes that we were looking for, and so we want to continue to advance that and continue to prioritize there. But at the same time, it's really a proof of concept for that idea that I mentioned that we launched this company around, and really shows that this district thesis has really holds water. And so we're going back out there to continue to explore it as a district, not lose sight of the bigger picture, and hopefully make a few more of these discoveries.
So do you have the money that you need right at the moment to be able to, fulfill what your next step plans are?
We do. So we're coming into 2023 with over $22 million in the bank, and that should see us through a pretty aggressive season. We have 3 drills out there on site, and they're ready to fire up when weather permits in the spring. And so we'll be hitting the ground running this year.
So if I'm an investor right at the moment and I'm looking at you, what's the most important thing that you want someone to focus in on at this point? Because investors always have, short-term focus. So what do the next 2 to 3 quarters look like for you?
Well, funnily enough, we're still getting results back from our 2022 program. So we're in the midst of the discovery, even though the drills have shut down from last season. And so that discovery called Valley is still taking shape. We have some pretty exciting holes that we're still awaiting assays for, and so that'll continue to take form in the next weeks and months. And we're also doing metallurgy work there, which is a big box to tick, especially for an early stage project. But from looking at similar deposit types, we have a lot of indicators that that this will be a very workable sort of a gold ore. You see it in places like Eagle in the Yukon, Fort Knox in Alaska, where these bulk tonnage targets they work at very low grades, just because the metallurgy is so good and the scale is there and the consistency is there. And we're seeing that scale, we're seeing that consistency, but we're also seeing higher grades. So that's pretty exciting. And then of course we'll be firing up the drills and going from there.
So what are your long-term plans? You and your father, as you say, have been out working this territory for quite some time. Are you now, based on the quality of the results that you're getting back, starting to see a slight shift in what your long-term plans are, or do you remain true to your initial thesis, I guess, or a prospect?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to continue to go out there and to explore, and obviously making a discovery like the one that we've made, you have to take a few other factors into account in terms of what else is happening in the industry, and who might be looking, and that sort of a thing. And so we're covering our bases on multiple fronts, but ultimately our plan is to discover and to build value.
To build out, or are you looking to partner with a major?
Again, it'll come down to building value, and should we be so lucky to have that kind of courtship, we'll assess it and see what's in the best interest of the company. And certainly, there are a lot of majors who do very good work, both on the mining front, but also on the social and environmental fronts, in terms of building something that's good for the territory. And so, we'll kind of assess that if and when the time comes. But we also have built a very strong team that knows how to explore. We're not miners, but we are explorers, and so we would like to continue to do that.
Well, this is a really interesting time now to be in gold. Finally, it looks like we're starting to see increased interest and valuation.
Yeah, no, and that certainly doesn't hurt. I like the kind of macroeconomic picture that we're sitting in. I hope that this isn't just kind of fear-based trading that has brought gold up in the past few weeks, but I think eventually, the markets do have to catch up with what's been happening, and that could put in a nice floor for gold. But ultimately, I'm an explorer, not an economist, and so we are looking for the kind of deposit that whether gold goes to some sky-high valuation or whether it drops down to $1,200 an ounce, we're looking for the kind of system that can make money in either scenario.
Well, you play a very important role in the whole continuum of mine development. It has to start with exploration and finding that. So, but for an investor, they would be looking at you right now saying, okay, is now the right time? And if so, why?
Well, I think if you do step back to that broader picture, it's exactly as you say, that you need to do early stage exploration to feed the mines of tomorrow and feed the economy and the world of tomorrow. And so, and that's one area where really majors stepped away in recent decades, and they really outsourced it all to the junior markets. But then the junior markets collapsed, and from 2012, it's been pretty slim pickings and pretty slow going for juniors. And so that upstream part of the pipeline has really been switched off for the large part. And so I think there's a dearth of discoveries, and yet the appetite is there, and the appetite is growing, as you mentioned. And so we're in a place where it's supply and demand, and the supply side is very light. And you combine that with the sort of geopolitical picture that brings companies, has them exiting certain jurisdictions in the world and coming back to safe havens like North America. It's hard to find a better time to have a high quality gold discovery in a tier 1 jurisdiction.
Well, you're here at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. I'm sure that you're getting a considerable amount of attention right now based on your results from last year.
Yeah, people are coming by. We have the core out at the booth, and people like what they see. So it's been fantastic.
Well, I'm wishing you great success, especially after having worked at it for so long. I know how important it is to be able to continue to see progress, and it looks to me like you're moving in a very positive direction.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, it's very nice to see that we haven't wasted the past few decades mucking around out there. I guess even if we didn't find anything, we wouldn't have wasted them, but nonetheless, it's always good to actually find something.
Well, we'll be looking for updates from you because you're good at coming back and sharing how your discoveries continue to unfold. So look forward to having you back again.
Well, thank you, and it's always a pleasure to chat.